Minnesota just weaponized your tax dollars to build a 5,000-person surveillance network targeting federal immigration officers. State grants, federal grants, private donations, all flowing into an NGO that's literally tracking ICE agents like they're criminals. But here's the part that'll make your blood boil. They're giving emergency rental assistance to the very people interfering with federal law enforcement. It's not just about immigration policy. This is about state governments actively sabotaging federal law enforcement with your money. Think about what this means for you. When states can mobilize thousands of people to interfere with federal officers, what other laws will they decide to ignore? Your property taxes, your federal taxes? They're funding a shadow enforcement system that operates like organized crime. And socially, we're watching the complete breakdown of the rule of law. When 5,000 people could be deployed to harass federal agents doing their jobs, we've crossed into vigilante territory. Politically, this is nullification, states deciding which federal laws that they will allow to be enforced. It's the same playbook that led to the Civil War. And speaking of protecting what matters most, let me tell you about financial security in uncertain times. See, if you're over 40 and you're planning to retire someday, the window to protect what you have built may be smaller than you realize. Here's a question most people never ask. Is your portfolio built for what's coming next? Many investors in their 40s and 50s discover they have little to no exposure to precious metals. That means their savings are largely tied to markets, policies, paper assets. There's very little protection if conditions change. So as retirement moves from someday to on the horizon, protecting what you've already built becomes just as important as growing it. And that is where Noble Gold Investment comes in, helping investors reduce risk by adding physical gold to their portfolios. Right now, may be a smart time to talk with Noble Gold Investments. No pressure, no sales gimmicks, just clear answers and a strategy built around your goals. Visit nextnewsgold.com and build your portfolio for the long term. That's the website or the phone number on your screen. Now back to this government-funded resistance network. This is where it gets worse. They're calling themselves legal observers while demanding judicial warrants from ICE agents, creating legal records, and using whistles to mob federal officers. This is not observation. It's organized intimidation, obstruction even. And remember that family from Minneapolis? They got $200,000 in donations after claiming their baby was tear gas. Well, new footage shows they participated in riots and left their baby in the car. The grift runs deep in that state. Checking in with the Homeland Security Department. Here is Greg Bovino, the Border Patrol commander, talking about the lawful operations that they're performing.
Our operations are lawful, they're targeted, and they're focused on individuals who pose a serious threat to this community. They are not random, and they are not political. They are about removing criminals who are actively harming Minneapolis neighborhoods. For too long, residents have been told that enforcing our nation's immigration laws undermines public safety. In reality, the opposite is true. When the law is not enforced, violent offenders remain free. Criminal networks expand, and the community pays the price. Our neighbors, our citizens, our friends pay the price. Rather than confront that reality of which I've just spoken, leaders like Tim Walz or Mayor Fry have relied on heated rhetoric and accusations that distract from the facts. The facts are that federal agents are arresting murderers, rapists, child predators, cartel-connected criminals, and other individuals who pose a real danger to the people of Minneapolis.
The real threat is coming from the leaders in that state because they're protecting the criminal racket. DHS claims these are target operations, but as we'll see, critics are painting a very different picture of what's happening on the ground in Minnesota. This teacher is a leftist activist masquerading as an educator. This sets up the broader pattern we're seeing, educators becoming flashpoints in the immigration debate, but there's much more brewing beneath the surface. A teacher at Becker High School caught arguing with a student over the shooting of Renee Good, falsely claiming that the ICE officer was not in danger.
His move should have been to go like this if he was really afraid. Your job as a police officer is to de-escalate.
It's a split second.
No, he had, no.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
She was not. I'm not going to argue with you.
You're arguing right now. You're arguing.
Because watch the video, he was not in danger.
Just because you're yelling doesn't mean you're winning an argument. Just because you're yelling doesn't mean you're winning.
Guys.
Yeah, just because you're alive doesn't mean you are intelligent.
It's somebody said she got shot, but it's a split. You have a split second.
Yeah.
And they're not. You're gonna take that? She just called you stupid.
That's the state of your education system in Minnesota. Sadly, it's really part of the larger problem with public education. Their indoctrination centers. The classroom tensions are just one piece of a much larger puzzle involving high-profile figures weighing in on the Minnesota situation. Megyn Kelly takes a blowtorch to Trump deranged psychopath Ellen DeGeneres like only she can do. Let's watch this.
Not forget why Ellen lost her daytime show. It's because she was a bully. She bullied people who were less powerful than she was. She had a rule. I'm very reliably informed. Somebody I knew very well had a sister who worked for her. You were not allowed to look her in the eye as one of her producers when you walked past her in the hallway. And so it's no surprise that Ellen DeGeneres is totally fine with what these so-called protesters, terrorists, are doing in the streets of Minneapolis. It's no surprise whatsoever. And when she says, I'm very sorry for any protester who's gotten hurt, she, of course, is talking about Renee Good. And I'm sure just like most leftists, she's been fed the same lies we've heard from CNN now from the beginning. And she's chosen to believe them because she's ignorant and it's willful. It's not blind ignorance. It's willful ignorance. It suits her ideological purposes. Shame on her. Enjoy England. I'm sorry that our friends across the pond are stuck with Ellen, but let's face it, they gave us Harry and Meghan, so they deserve it.
Yeah. The political commentary is heating up, but let's see how this celebrity angle connects to the actual enforcement actions. Ellen DeGeneres, or should I say degenerate, praying for violent left-wing rioters to burn cities and attack innocents. That's not compassion, it's complicity and chaos. While real Americans suffer, you're virtual signaling from your mansion. What an upside-down world we live. Oh, God.
Hey, everybody. I just wanted to say I am so sorry for what is happening in Minneapolis and our country, really, but specifically Minneapolis right now, because it's where I shot my last stand-up special, and everybody there couldn't have been more lovely. I shot it there because they say it's the happiest city in America, and I found that to be true. So my thoughts and my prayers are going out to everyone. And I'm proud of everyone who's protesting peacefully, and I am sorry for anyone who has been hurt just for protesting, for doing what you should be doing. Anyway, I just sending love.
Yeah. Is that love, Julie? Ellen DeGenerate? All the celebrity and political noise is building towards something much more serious. Actual confrontations between protesters and federal agents. Watch some idiot toothpick try to stop an ICE vehicle with her body, and it doesn't work, obviously. Oh, boy. This is from Cassandra McDonald.
No, it's not terrorizing.
I have friends that are on legal visas.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not, those people on legal visas, we're not bothering them. But let me ask you this. You hang out at a bar, right? Everybody's drinking, having a good time. There's local cops outside waiting to catch a drunk driver, right? Are they terrorizing the bar patrons?
No,
They're doing their job.
Hey, watch how you spray that.
He's a German immigrant.
Unbelievable. It's just bedlam. It is bedlam in that state. Here's where the rhetoric meets reality. Getting footage of actual physical confrontations and the media coverage of these incidents is becoming its own story. The media coverage is intensifying, but there's something even more significant behind the scenes with funding and organization. Trace Gallagher torching ABC, NBC, and CBS. They aired 93% negative coverage on ICE enforcement. Listen.
Sincerely confused because it appears the DHS message about ICE agents going after criminal illegal immigrants has now fallen on deaf ears. The protesters are still loud, violent, defiant. Their political leaders are still launching obscenities in hopes of stirring the pot. And the media still sees what it wants to see. After the shooting of Renee Good, the coverage of ICE on CBS, NBC, and ABC was 93% negative. Common sense knows the legacy media hates Trump and hates ICE, but 93% negative is not journalism. It's tribalism. It is group hate on steroids. And what truly baffles common sense is the very same liberals who are outraged and obsessed with Jeffrey Epstein and going after child sex predators are now impeding, interfering, and injuring law enforcement officers going after child sex predators. Have any of these protesters seen the thousands of illegal immigrants in this country accused of raping and sexually abusing children? Or is the liberal narrative so precious, so profound, and so protected that drifting off course is forbidden? Maybe it's true that hatred generates more votes than love.
Yeah. Beyond the media's spin, there's concrete evidence of financial support flowing to the protesters, and the scope of this organized resistance is stunning. Minnesota Housing giving emergency rental assistance to the protesters. Buckle up.
Hi there. I'm State Representative Mike Howard. I'm the co-chair of our housing committee. As folks have said, there is massive economic destabilization happening because of the actions of ICE that's affecting communities in a very broad way and Minnesotans in a broad way. Specifically, Minnesotans are facing potential challenges with making rent because of how many businesses are shuttered and families unable to get to work to care for loved ones or what have you. And so we are pursuing state-based emergency rental assistance. We believe it's really necessary that the state step up and provide emergency rental assistance to Minnesotans. There are, of course, ways right now that Minnesotans are stepping up in amazing ways to donate to locally led efforts to deliver that assistance to folks. And that's amazing, but the state needs to step up as well. So that's something else we're working on.
They're literally housing the protesters. Massive coordinated network, and now federal politicians are weighing in on both sides of the resistance. NGO has over 5,000 people patrolling the streets of Minnesota for ICE. It's funded by both state and federal government grants. It's like the state has its own privately funded militia protecting the fraud that's happening there. It's like, okay, we're detecting the fraud, investigating the fraud. All right, activate the militia and it's all state funded. It's like a huge, unholy circle of hell.
Continue recording. Focus on the camera.
I spent the day with a group of people who monitor the movements of federal immigration agents in real time.
Thousands of tips come in. It can be 100 in a day or more.
They're called legal observers. under the immigrant advocacy group Copal. They're part of a network of 5,000 people who respond to tips that federal immigration enforcement is around.
We heard reports of federal enforcement here.
They say they're trained to observe, document, use their whistles and their voices to demand answers. They train other observers to not touch any agents and stay 8 feet away.
Our observers are trained to walk in and say, I need to see a signed judicial warrant. Why are you here? What are you doing here? And all of that creates a legal record as well.
Even videos of documenting things can really help people because sometimes people don't know their family is being taken away.
They say they've seen 3 times as many people registering to be an observer since Renee Good was killed by an ICE agent. What types of people sign up to be observers?
People that look a lot like Renee Good. We have a lot of moms, we have a lot of retirees.
But a lot of critics say that they're getting in the way of government operations.
We have a 100% no obstruction protocol as observers. We want to document this just like any other law enforcement activity.
Stand against legalized terror. Another paid protester. The political response is escalating, but the real bombshell is how this resistance network is actually funded. Timo Obama, Hakeem Jeffries. ICE should not be able to storm houses of worship. But apparently he's okay with ICE protesters doing it.
That's common sense. ICE should not be able to storm houses of worship, hospitals, and schools. That's common sense. That relates to protocols that exist for every other law enforcement agency in the country. ICE should have a use of force standard. None currently exists.
Use of force standard, really? You think they don't have standards, Hakeem? Minnesota's pouring money into an NGO that had built a 5,000-person network to track ICE, like they're running their own shadow enforcement team, state grants, federal grants, private grants, all flowing into an organization that mobilizes people to interfere with federal officers. That's why Keith Ellison is the egg of Minnesota, because he's a freaking idiot. Mrs. Kravitz says. New video reveals the family who received nearly $200,000 in donations after claiming they were returning from a basketball game when their baby was tear gassed in Minneapolis lied as footage shows the parents participated in the riot and left their baby in the car. Here's the new footage. Support the Jackson family after ICE incident. $200,000 they made. They left their baby in the car. Horrible parents. So here's a smoking gun. Thousands of tips pour in daily to this network. 100 reports in a single day of ICE locations. They've created a real-time tracking system for federal agents using government money. This is not civil disobedience. It's state-sponsored obstruction of justice. Minnesota isn't just harboring illegal immigrants anymore. They're actively hunting the people trying to enforce our laws. So the mask is completely off now. Minnesota has declared war on federal immigration enforcement using your tax dollars to fund it. They built an army of 5,000 activists, giving them training coordination and emergency financial assistance when they get in trouble. This is what happens when the states decide they're above federal law. They don't stop with immigration. They'll ignore whatever federal authority they disagree with next. Property rights, gun laws, taxation, everything becomes optional when states can mobilize vigilante networks against federal officers. The question is simple. Do you think states should be allowed to use taxpayer money to obstruct federal law enforcement? Check out the next News Merch Shop.
The system controls information. Information control is power. They don't want you to see this. The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.